Alright, question and answer time. We had a really interesting comment in the last video, so I thought I'd answer it in the form of a video. I've been single for 5 years and I'm actually loving myself so much and feel absolutely capable and confident on my own. However, I am away for this weekend and I feel like I should have gone out for the evening to give myself a chance to meet a BF, but I just can't be bothered. Then I feel bad as I'm old and I am in bed at 9 PM at 37 when I should, in quotation marks, be on the town. I believe you can meet people without going out to town, but is this a missed opportunity? What do you think? This all comes down to embodiment. This all comes down to, where is this coming from? Is it coming from the intellect or is it coming from an embodied place? And for me, when I read that question, I see a clear disparity between the first half and the second half. So the first half claims, I love myself so much and I'm absolutely confident living on my own. But then, in the second half, I feel I should have gone out for the evening. Have I missed an opportunity? So, if one is embodied in self-love, if that is just the vibration one is in, then there will be no need for another. There may be a desire, there may be appreciation that somebody could add to your life experience, but this sense of I've missed out, I should be doing, that comes from the needy part of you, the part of you that is yet to be seen by you. So this is an inner child part of you that is very traumatized and very scared. And so far, the adult part of you hasn't been able to fully acknowledge that part, bring it into the light, allow it to be seen, allow it to be loved, so that its energy is no longer controlling, because that is the energy that comes up in the have I missed an opportunity. And that whole mindset comes from I am not enough on my own. It comes from, and this is totally normal, there's no like, oh look at you, we all go through this stage. So it's coming from a needy, shadowy, distorted part of ourselves. So if you operate from that place and decide that you do need to go out to town to meet someone, guess who you're going to meet? Somebody who energetically matches that wound. So that wound of yours that believes that it needs another to feel fully happy in life, secure with life, is a wounded version of you. And it's probably, most likely in a female, going to manifest as a victim energy. So guess what you're going to pull in if you go to town? You're going to pull in your energetic match, which is a predator. So this is why people end up in co-addictions, because they're and this is like 99% of relationships, they're just two distorted people coming from opposite ends of the spectrum. And we often see, well, we always see victim as the good person and predator as the bad person, but actually they're both coming from an equal level of distortion on the masculine feminine scale, which my mate describes much better. I'll share his channel at the end, where he's done a whole video breaking down the masculine and feminine energies and how we become victims and predators, and how it's all just coming from the same place of distortion. Now, I'm not making this wrong. Maybe you need another co-addiction. Maybe you need to live out of the shadow a bit longer to see it. You know, this is the only way we see it. You know, I've had a whole history of co-addictions. I needed them, and I wouldn't have got to a place of true self-love without them. So it may be that if there's an energetic pull there, the only way you're ever going to transmute that is by experiencing it. You can't do this intellectually, and this is why it's all about embodiment. It seems to me you're at the stage, a very good stage, where you're intellectually aware of all this stuff, and you are intellectually loving yourself, and there may be some genuine embodiment in that too, but it's not grounded, it's not there, it's not your daily experience. Otherwise you wouldn't be seeking another. And you would also have seen enough synchronicity in your life and surrendered, you know, to get to this embodied stage, you will have had to have surrendered yourself to a point where you would no longer be trying to control your life, no longer seeking a partner. And that's when it all comes. Everything that is your dharma, everything that is meant to happen, will start happening. And that also includes the co-addictions. That also includes, like I said, you need those to get to this place. There's no shaming any of this. There's no rights and wrongs here. It's just a journey. Ultimately, if you're going to go into town to find a partner, then you're trying to control your existence. You're not trusting, you're not surrendered, you're not embodied enough to feel the trust that that partner will come in when it's meant to, and when your energetic system, your shadows are resolved enough for you to energetically pull in the partner that you deserve. The response, things happened that I put down to synchronicity, but then I worry I am not making things happen sometimes, or I have lost my flow of synchronicity. Yeah, I've so been there. When you touch upon it and you touch upon trust, you know, maybe you've just come out of an ayahuasca ceremony, or you know, you've done some modality that's really got you into the body and got you into this trusting, flowing space. And then you go back into fear and the head and the mind and try and control things again and worry that you've lost your synchronicity. It's all just part of the process. Like, this is synchronicity, embodiment, surrender is a muscle like anything else that needs to be worked. And the more you operate from that space, the more your consciousness is in that space grows to the point where it outgrows the ego, the controlling aspect of you. So you are going to have this period, and for me, you know, it was probably 5 or 6 years of feeling, thinking. And obviously that still goes on for me now, but I don't attach to the thoughts, I don't give them any credence. But you have to go through it to get there. So yeah, you will have this constant like fear of losing synchronicity. You haven't lost it, you're just not ready to fully surrender to it. Because, you know, most people who speak about this stuff, like, they come from this wishy-washy love and light perspective, like spirituality is this beautiful journey. No, it is, you know, there's a reason why so many people are still believing the media, why so many people are still listening to the government. Do you want to come past, mate? You know, it's because they're so scared of the truth, and obviously that's on a very basic level, but that continues, because the truth is, you're very traumatized, and I don't mean you, the commenter, I mean humans are very traumatized and very deluded and very stupid and very and the ego is so clever. Like, you know, like the Christian perspective of like how the devil shows up, you know, it shows up as a beautiful seductress, it doesn't show up as this horned red beast. And the ego is the same. You know, I'm working with somebody at the moment he's fantastic, and he has incredible intellect, and you would think, and in some ways that does aid the spiritual journey. It's very good to be able to understand these concepts. But for example, his ego shows up, or has shown up, and I think we've got past it now, but has shown up in intellect, in like reassuring him that he knows everything, because he's read every book. You know, everything I speak of he has an intellectual understanding of, but he hasn't embodied very much of it. Yet his ego can show up with all this intellectual jargon that can reassure him that he knows. You know, it's like, what I'm saying is the ego is very clever and it appears beautiful, and it, you know, that's how it tricks you. To answer the question, if you feel that desperate, that lonely, then yes, you do need to go into town. Yes, you do need another co-addiction. Yes, you do need to be treated like shit for a bit longer. Yes, you do need to have your heart broken again. To finally let go of this nonsense, to finally let go of this energetic attachment to needing another, and thinking that you might find that in a situation that involves loud music, alcohol, and no conscious communication. You know, if that's honestly still a belief system of yours, then you need to keep experiencing it, and you need to exhaust it until you see that it's absolute nonsense, until you feel that it's absolute nonsense. And then you will be able to trust synchronicity. And it might be that that synchronicity decides you're not meant to have a partner, but you'll be okay with that too, because you'll have exhausted all the karmatic, energetic desire that is making you believe that you need one. I hope that helped. If anyone appreciated this video, please do like it and consider subscribing to the channel. I need to change this channel name. It doesn't fit. When I started this channel, I thought it was going to be something else, but it's turned into this. Great. I mean, I am actually really happy. This is what I want to speak about. This is my passion. So yeah, any ideas for channel names, please drop them in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you soon. Big love. And you can find my mate's channel here. It's a really good channel. I highly recommend it. He's wiser than me. Not quite as funny as me, of course, but he does break things down really well. And it's this video that he speaks about the masculine and feminine aspects, which is very good information.